Hey, you ever want to play your favorite anime character in a tabletop RPG and the system would, kind of let you do it, but not really? Well, then you should play Worlds of Myth. Welcome to MythTube, where we build your favorite anime characters in Worlds of Myth. What is Worlds of Myth, you may ask? Well, Myth is a tabletop RPG that I designed to allow you to build the over-the-top characters you only find in shonen battle anime. Characters like Naruto, Deku, Meliodas, and Ken Kaneki are all examples of characters this game can easily let you build. The game is in late beta right now, so you can head on over to worldsofmyth.net and download a free PDF, and you can also download a variety of other supplements. Yeah, for free. My goal is to spread awareness of the game before its official launch, and I want as many of you as possible to have fun playing it. You can also head on over to our Discord at Sinister Jester Worlds of Myth, where you can talk all things about the game, find a group to play with, or check out some of the other games we're testing. But without further ado, let's talk about who we're building today. So today we are building Eris Boreas Grey Rat from Jobless Reincarnation. And first off, been a minute guys, been a minute. Sorry I haven't been uploading more lately, but with the holidays and job hunting, I've been a bit busy. But I am going to try to pump one of these videos out each week while juggling the rest of my life and updates to the game. But you didn't come here for excuses, you came here to see how to play a hot-headed tsundere sword princess, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna rant too long on Mushoku Tensei as a series because I already did that in my Rudy video, please go watch that. But it's a great show about a guy who gets a second chance at life and who meets some really cool people along the way, like our girl Eris here, his hot-blooded crush. Real quick though, before we go into the build, I just want to say that the version of Eris that we are gonna build is 15-year-old Eris at the end of the first season of Jobless Reincarnation, because we are an anime-only channel and that's as far as the anime has gotten at the time of this video. So that's gonna mean no Mad Dog Eris. Going over her background abilities, as her name implies, Eris grew up as the spoiled next in line, heiress to the head of the Boreas household. As such, she is stubborn, proud, hot-headed, and she is not afraid to use violence. Yet, somehow, this tsundere manages to be charming. Like, I'm usually not crazy about the tsundere type. They are typically just, mean. And while yeah, they do get cute when they fall in love with the main character, until then they are just an entitled brat with anger issues. That being said, Eris really did grow on me. Like, I came to like her more and more as the series went on and she got served a few slices of humble pie. After being separated from her family through the teleportation disaster, Eris learns what it's like to live outside of a mansion with servants and begins to want to define herself by her own strength rather than the power of her family name. And speaking of that strength, Eris is an advanced swordsman, being taught combat skills from a very young age by the Sword King Galen and the even more powerful demon Ruijerd. She has been seen to effortlessly cut through these monster dogs at the age of like 12 or 13 and has battled the likes of giant snakes and even survived an encounter with the dragon god Orsted, who is probably the most powerful character in the Mushoku Tensei universe. As such, she is super strong, incredibly fast, has an iron will, and is pretty durable as well. As a side note, she also knows beginner fire magic, being able to conjure a fireball projectile with an incantation. So what level do we put her at? Well, in Worlds of Myth there are 6 tiers of power which we will correlate to the Mushoku Tensei universe and use to scale Eris. Tier 1 or levels 1 through 5 are for beginner level characters or E-ranked adventurers. Tier 2 or levels 6 through 10 is for intermediate level characters or D-ranked adventurers. Tier 3 or levels 11 through 15 is for advanced level characters or rank C adventurers. Tier 4 or levels 16 through 20 is your Saint class characters or B ranked adventurers. This tier of power is where characters start getting really powerful. Tier 5 or levels 21 through 25 is for your King class characters or A ranked adventurers. And then finally, Tier 6 is for your Imperial to God level characters or your S ranked enemies. So where does that put Eris? Well, she has survived an encounter with an S-ranked character and regularly battles alongside B and A-ranked adventurers.
Additionally, when we built Rudius, we estimated him to be at a level 16 at the end of Season 1. And while Eris herself thinks that she is significantly weaker than Rudy, and while she did lose to him in a sparring match that one time, she also continued to improve her skills, and Rudy himself admitted in an inner monologue that even with his demon eye, the Eris at the end of the season would destroy him in a close quarters match. So while I'm gonna say that Eris should probably be a little bit lower level than Rudy, the difference isn't huge, so we're gonna build her as a level 15. Starting off with level 1, at this point in the story, Rudy has just shown up at the mansion, which means that you have been doing some sword training with Ghislaine and been doing some tomboyish tsundere princess stuff, whatever that would look like. For our stats, we get 17 stat points we can divvy out however we choose so long as we don't have any zeros. We'll go with the typical anime protagonist spread with 4 speed, 4 power, 4 skill, 1 cunning, and 4 heart. Eris isn't stupid, she's more just impatient and stubbornly hates learning anything she doesn't enjoy. For your race, you are a human, so we're gonna build yet another human. Humans get 4 gene slots and +2 upgrade points at level 1. For your spell schools, humans get Vitamancy, an elemental spell school of choice. We'll go with Pyromancy for obvious reasons, and a spiritual spell school of choice. I was kinda on the fence on this one because Eris is pretty moody, but I'm gonna say Holymancy fits her a bit better. We then get 10 elemental or specialty spell schools of choice, or we can convert those into spell affinities. Eris isn't very magical, so we'll just shove 3 spell affinities into the schools we already have and then pick up Aeromancy. You have a definite I don't want to be a princess kind of vibe going on, and wind magic is all about freedom. For talents, humans get 3 upgrade points towards talents of choice. We'll go with Wealthy level 3, cause at this stage of the show, your talent is having money. Once per day, so long as there hasn't been a disaster that has struck your family fortune, you gain 1d20 times 300 credits. Credits are currency and you can reflavor it however you like, but for comparison, you can think of this as your character gets $300 to $6,000 as passive income a day. Wish my talent was being wealthy. Moving on to your kit, we have 7 upgrade points to spend. We'll pick up the talent Intimidation / Rage level 2 because you are a scurry little ginger lolly. This will give you +5 to success and challenge rolls involving intimidation. And it will also give you a rage counter every time you get hit by an attack. Rage counters can be spent to add +1 offense, +1 defense, +2 damage, and +1 protection for the duration of one attack, which can be either yours or your enemy's. Next, we'll get you some sword skills with Medium Blade level 3. We'll make you a bit more agile with Dodge level 2. Everyone gets Dodge level 1 for free, so this will only cost us 1 point. And then we'll finish things off with the Growth 2-handed fighting style level 1. So long as you are only using one weapon at a time, you get +1 offense, +1 defense, +4 damage, which is a great boost to your weapon stats. Skipping forward to level 5, by this point, Rudy has saved you from being kidnapped and you've been letting him tutor you and continuing your training with Ghislaine for a couple of years now. By this level, you'll get +20 HP, +40 myth, 21 upgrade points with another +8 because of human bonuses, and +4 stats. We'll put 1 into speed, 1 into skill, and 2 into cunning. You're officially literate now and even know some magic thanks to your tutoring. Because you are human, we'll also get another 2 gene slots, which means we have a total of 6 to fill. First things first, with the crazy levels of swordsmanship you've displayed at your age, I think that qualifies you as a protege, so we'll give you the half-human gene. When a human gains the half-human gene, it upgrades them to a protege and you gain 6 upgrade points, which brings our total upgrade points for this tier to 35. We'll kick things off by mastering our swordsmanship Swordsmanship with Medium Blade level 5 and Two-Handed Fighting Style level 2. This will make it so that before adding your stats, your sword template will have an offense and defense of 9 with 18 damage. Next, we'll get some better dodges with Dodge level 5. And then let's get some low level magic with Fireball level 2. That'll give you a decent projectile fire attack that explodes in a 5-foot radius. But Eris can only cast her fire magic using an incantation, so we'll pick up attack incantation level 1. By spending an action in 10 myth, your next attack gains an amount of extra damage equal to your cunning stat. Next, we'll get angrier with intimidation/rage level 4. Even if you already know you love him, Rudy needs to learn to keep his hands where they belong. This will bump your intimidation roll bonus to +10 so you can properly bully people, and it'll make it so you can gain an amount of rage counters equal to your heart stat, which will scale up here in just a bit. You also get another rage counter every time you make an attack. Then we'll go ahead and get the talent performer level 1. You gain some dancing skills for your 10th birthday. And then let's use your 5 gene slots to get you some fat stats. First, we'll pick up the Beta Gene Hot-Blooded Enhancement level 3, which fits you way too well. At the cost of losing -1 cunning, you get +3 power, skill, and heart. We'll also grab Body Enhancement level 3, which is a similar gene. This will also give you -1 cunning, but in return it will give you +3 speed, power, and skill. Next, we'll grab Speed and Skill Enhancement level 3 each. These will each give the corresponding stat +5 and increase that stat's stat cap by +2, meaning that we can cap at 17 instead of 15. We'll use our last gene slot to pick up Awakening Gene level 3. This gives us 7 stats that we can use any way we want. We kinda wound up making her stupid again with our genes, so we'll give Eris back 4 cunning and then spend the rest on her heart stat. Next, we are gonna skip all the way from the end of Tier 1 to the end of Tier 3. During this point in the story, Eris and the gang are traveling through the Demon Continent in order to get her back home. Eris probably does the most growth out of the other characters during this time period, but I don't really know what story beats to separate tiers 2 and 3 on, since this pretty much just encapsulates the second half of the season. By this level you get +50 HP, +100 myth, 50 +15 upgrade points cause human, 2 stacks of overcharge, and 10 stat points. We'll give her +5 cunning and +5 heart. During this time period, you really started getting pretty superhuman, so first things first, let's up those stats with improved speed level 4, improved power level 5, and improved skill level 1. Next, let's get something to put those overcharge stacks to use with Spirit Attack. This lets you use your overcharge stacks with standard attacks, blocks, dodges, movement actions, and techniques. By spending a stack of overcharge and 10 myth to activate that stack of overcharge, you can add +1 offense, +20 damage to an attack per stack. Your stacks of overcharge recharge at the beginning and end of your turn, meaning you'll have 2 stacks during your turn and another 2 stacks to use on reactions during the rest of the round. And no, you can't save up stacks, they have a limit of 2. You can also spend overcharge stacks to add +100 feet movement per stack when making a movement action. And when using them on blocks and dodges, you get +2 defense for the first stack, +1 defense for the second stat, and if you are using a block, you do get +15 protection for the first stack and +10 protection for the second stack. For your dodge overcharges, you get to dash an extra time for each stack of overcharge, and since you have a speed of 17 with a dodge level 5, your dashes are 20 feet. So if someone attacked you, you could potentially overcharge your dodge twice in order to jump 60 feet away after their attack. This is assuming that your dodge was successful. Next, since our power stat is higher than 10, we'll go ahead and grab Super Strength. This will give all of our melee attacks +10 damage and give us +10 to power success rolls. This is what's going to make it so we can effortlessly carve through demon doggos or even chop a giant snake in half. We'll continue to sharpen our sword's damage with Combat Specialist level 3. So long as we don't have any amplification spells active, which Eris doesn't use those, we get plus 15 damage to all of our attacks. And then let's get you a bit more durable, that way when Orsted shows up and kicks you into a wall while you're trying to protect your boyfriend, you can survive it. We'll do that by picking up the Growth Durable level 5, which will give us an extra plus 50 HP. We'll also grab Grit level 2, so long as you don't have an armor spell active. This gives you plus 10 armor if you are wearing normal armor, or if you're not wearing any armor at all, it'll give you plus 10 protection. With a speed and cunning stat of at least 10, we can also go ahead and grab Godly Speed and Efficient. Together, these two growths will give us an extra action each turn. Having more action economy is never a bad thing, and you can move around the battlefield pretty freely. Then we'll pick up Dance of Attacks level 2. For an action and a passive action, we can attack using a standard attack up to 3 times in a row. Remember that a regular action can be used to do anything that a passive action can do. This means that with 3 actions and a passive action each turn, if we're facing a stationary target, we could potentially attack them 6 times in a row. Then we'll go ahead and grab Running Attack level 3. You can use the level 1 version of this technique in order to just spend 1 action to make a movement and attack instead of the usual 2, or you can spend 2 actions to move and attack all enemies in your path. No matter which variant of the technique you use, you can only use 1 running attack once per turn. Next, thanks to Rudy, you've learned how to fight dirty, so we'll grab Improved Cunning Attack. A normal cunning attack is something that anyone can do by spending a passive action and making a cunning versus cunning roll. If you succeed, your next attack gets plus 3 offense. With Improved Cunning Attack, you can use this ability once per turn without spending a passive action or any action at all. Then we'll grab Improved Strike the Weak Point. By spending a passive action and making a cunning versus cunning success roll, if we succeed and have at least 1 stack of analysis on an opponent, we get to add our cunning stat to the damage of our next attack, which is an extra plus 10 damage, and that's not bad, especially for something that only costs us 2 upgrade points. We'll also master our Fireball at level 5. Did Eris get any better at casting during this time? Meh. Probably not, but I'm running out of stuff to buy here and there's still like 20 more upgrade points to go. So how about we get ourselves an improved Disarm/Sever technique? Usually Disarm/Sever is a blade type maneuver that you have to spend a passive action and succeed on a cunning versus cunning roll to pull off. But this improved version makes it so you can combine it with any attack without spending that passive or having to make an extra roll. The effect is that if you cause at least 20 HP worth of life loss on your opponent, you can take off a limb. This is not something that Eris is super known for, but she can definitely do it. Then we'll get ourselves Counterattack level 2. This makes it so that if we succeed at a dodge or block, we can spend a counter in order to automatically hit our opponent with an attack. Then we'll get Counter Expert level 3 up to 3 times a day when you would want to use a counter to activate an ability but haven't prepared one, you can just gift it to yourself. Normally counters can be prepared during your turn by spending a passive action to prep one. They do disappear if not used at the beginning of your next turn. After that, let's grab Ultimate Block level 3. So long as we have a counter prepared, we can use this technique to give ourselves plus 3 defense. So you can use Counter Expert to prep an emergency counter, use Ultimate Block to block, and then spend that counter in order to hit them with a counterattack. It's a pretty nasty combo. After that, let's grab Partial Block level 3. Whenever you would fail a block, you can use this technique to sorta block it anyway. This grants you a bonus to your armor equal to your power stat plus 3, so you mitigate some of the damage. The first time you use this technique, you can use it for free. Every time after that, it does require a counter. Then, during your travels, you had to do a lot of camping and walking, so we'll pick up Survival level 3. This lets you choose a terrain. We'll go with Demon Continent Wilderness. Whenever you gain stacks of analysis on monsters or non-unique NPCs native to that terrain, those stacks are permanent and are kept track of on a separate sheet of paper. Normally, you can only keep stacks of analysis on up to 3 targets at a time. Additionally, you get +10 to success and challenge rolls involving things like finding food, shelter, and tracking while in your chosen terrain. And then finally, with our last 5 upgrade points, at the end of your journey, you've turned 15, and you and Rudy made a promise. That's right, we're picking up Seduction level 4. Cause you're gonna need it for a certain controversial scene at the end of the first season. If you know, you know, and if you don't know...
私、ルーデウスの子猫が欲しいにゃん。
Oh, I'm gonna go to the special hell.
Now you know. This will give you +10 to seduction rolls, which is mostly why we are picking it up, but it will also let you flirt in the middle of battle by spending a counter in order to give an opponent -3 offense, -3 defense, -5 damage against you until you damage that target. Does Eris ever do this? You don't know, and I don't know too because I haven't read the rest of the manga. Outside of combat, you can also use Wrap Around Your Finger in order to make a heart versus heart success roll against a target you want to turn into your simp. If it succeeds, that someone completely falls for you and will do anything you ask within reason. And if you've seen adult Eris, I definitely believe she could do this if she wanted to. It's just a question of would she? And that's the build. So how did we do? Well, we really got Eris everything she wanted plus some. Based off of the show, she really doesn't have that many moving parts, but I didn't want to make her too much lower of a level than Rudy because she's really not. The only reason why Rudius is a tiny bit ahead of her is because he has the memories of his past life and plot convenience on his side. But with both super strength and combat specialists, your sword attacks are gonna hit hard. And since you're always attacking with Disarm/Sever, you're gonna be chopping off limbs left and right. You've also got a solid magic attack option, which is better than it was in the show. You are really durable with a great ultimate block to avoid all damage, or partial block with grit to add tons of damage mitigation when you do get hit, and a sturdy amount of HP. You are also pretty talented. Assuming your GM lets you keep your wealth, wealthy will bring in a lot of income for your allies. And even if you get cut off, you can use dancing as a side gig while you're adventuring. Not that Eris would ever do that, but I mean, you could. You've also got some great intimidation, and you always have options to punish your opponents for hitting you. If your counterattacks don't get them, you can just store up rage counters and unleash a devastating attack later. All in all, a solid and easy to use build that does a great job at representing the red-headed tsundere we all know and love. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet but still watching my videos, what are you even doing with your life? Go ahead and hit the dang sub button. As always, you can head on over to our Discord or Facebook groups where you can find a group to play with or just chat about the game. And with that, my beautiful weebs, peace.